Today we're watching Why Does Everybody Hate Jews?
Israeli propaganda has ruined the lives of Oscar-winning actors because they have went against them. There are many movies that are the safe haven. Israel is the perfect spot to go to when there's a zombie apocalypse. And further than that, it's not just American propaganda, but many people in Israel believe that what they're doing to Gaza, killing the babies, the mothers, the children, is not wrong.
How Israel has systematically beheaded Palestinian children on a daily basis for the last 15 months. And yet every single one of these Western media outlets was so quick to spread the mass atrocity propaganda in order to manufacture consent for Israel's genocide.
Yo, war is crazy. Do you understand that's how a lot of shit gets done? War isn't a necessity, but it's not going nowhere. But damn, bro.
Repeating a story about an incident which never took place.
We have some really disturbing new information out of Israel. The Israeli Prime Minister's spokesman just confirmed babies and toddlers were found with their heads decapitated.
I choked up earlier reading this new revelation about 40 babies being killed.
Oh my God.
And some of them being beheaded. And I was like, how can any human being do that to a baby?
This is a very complex topic that needs to be broken down into 3 parts, and it all starts with the 50th year anniversary for the Oscars. Vanessa Redgrave wins Best Supporting Actress, but that's not what she's remembered and known for, because that same year she releases another movie produced by her titled The Palestinians, where it's very sympathetic towards the Palestinians, interviewing leaders and painting a light that they're actually human beings. Guess what? Nothing turned out good for her afterwards. She went on top of a stage, she gave a big, great speech calling them hoodlums.
And I salute you, and I pay tribute to you, and I think you should be very proud that in the last few weeks you've stood firm, and you have refused to be intimidated by the threats of a small bunch of Zionist hoodlums whose behavior is an insult to the stature of Jews all over the world and to their great and heroic record of struggle against fascism and oppression.
And even released mice into at least one of them. Another theater was bombed, which took place after the Oscars. When Redgrave arrived at the Oscars, she saw her likeness hanged in effigy by JDL members who apparently lit it on fire. Police reportedly told her a local JDL leader offered $500 for the ear of the Nazi. I made this film because I believe the Palestinian people have been denied the right to be heard, Redgrave said in defense of her movie.
She came back from the stage and sat.
Bro, this is giving me like Eldian vibes, boy. Like if y'all ever watched Attack on Titan, this is giving me Eldian propaganda. They're on heads.
By herself. No co-star, no actors went up to talk to her. It was just the 2 bodyguards assigned. Everyone did not like her. Even her co-stars, who was known for taking pictures and against the Vietnam War, insulted her consistently. And people need to realize the Palestinian and Israel beef has existed since decades ago. And this is not just about America. In the UK, you can get arrested for making a mean tweet about Israel. Even knowing anything about the situation in Israel will get you in criminal trouble. More importantly, they are manipulating and propagandizing their own people. There are arguments, debates about should they be able to rape Palestinian hostages. Like, what the fuck?
I don't have a joke. What?
UK government passed an act heavily restricting access to online content deemed potentially unsafe to children. This possibly includes information relating to Palestine and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Israeli occupation forces tied explosives to the body of an 80-year-old Palestinian man who was forced to clear booby-trapped houses. And once they released him, they shot and killed him and his wife. Did you know that Israeli soldiers were captured on film raping a Palestinian hostage? And when news of this came to light, Israeli far-right politicians and soldiers and ordinary people protested.
Bro, he is there for the fashion. He is there for the aesthetics. You're not there to really stand for what you believe in, your morals, your values. You there for the antics.
Outside of the facility where the soldier was being held, demanding that he be released, and in parallel, the Israeli Knesset engaged in debates on the right of Israeli soldiers to rape Palestinian hostages.
שיש מי שבפרקליטות חושב שאפשר לבוא ולעצור חיילים על דברים שעושים למחבלי נוח'בה, לא נגמר. אנחנו לא יכולים להמשיך כרגיל.
להכניס מקל לרקטום של בן אדם, זה לגיטימי?
כן, אם הוא נוח'בה, הכל לגיטימי לעשות לו. הכל. הכל.
I want
Oh, fuck. Let me grab my heart real quick. Let me make sure it's still beating. Let me make sure that we're still in the same fucking world that I just read that.
people to realize one thing, and that it's Israel propaganda doesn't just apply to America and Americans, but it applies to almost every first world country. And even more importantly, this happens through media, not just through the news outlets and how they report everything, but in movies. Giant blockbuster, highest grossing zombie movie ever, where what the fuck, in World War Z, Israel is the only place that is the safe haven from the zombies because they have extra advanced technologies that was able to predict the zombies, and it's this open, free place where they'll accept everyone, even Palestinians. And then, you know, obviously the reason why Israel fell down was because the Palestinians were being too fucking loud. The second part of this video,
is that true? Is that what happened in that movie?
Is how you interpret this information, because hating on the Jews, Israel is becoming a mainstream topic. It's discussed everywhere in Republican parties, Democratic parties. Everyone is talking about the propaganda, and there's this easy trap you could fall into where people will take advantage of your knowledge. There are a lot of Instagram grifters out there that are becoming extremely popular, hundreds of thousands of followers, and I talk to social media managers. They make easily 30 grand a month for
I know this guy. Fuck this guy. I don't know who this guy is.
shilling random gambling companies, and their whole shtick is that they hate black people, they hate women because they're dumb and stupid, and more importantly, they also hate Jews.
What's your name? Paul Miller. Let's say a student wanted to come into your classroom, like you were the teacher, and he got kicked out of 109 different schools over 1,000 times. Would you let the student into your classroom and give him a chance?
Absolutely not. I mean, is the student probably, right? I would assume so.
It's this weird...
And you can't... They're lame. They're lame. And you can't give them no energy. Because once you give energy, you lose.
level of self-awareness, but also zero at the same time. Because it's important to let people know what's happening in Israel, but the biggest mistake is blindly hating on people just because they are Jewish. We forget that a lot of Germans that wanted to kill all the Jews were not bad people. They were easily manipulated.
Very charismatic, funny, likable guy.
And there is this trend on TikTok where there's this pro-Palestinian person, whoever they are, and they interview all of these teenagers, these young people on Omi TV about their views on Palestine and their views on being Israel and Jewish. Excuse me, not Israel's not a thing.
Hello, konnichiwa. Palestine or Israel?
Oh my god, oh, you from this?
Hello. You support Israel? Hi. You support Israel or Palestine? What do you think about Israel?
I think this excessive need for approval and validation comes from that gut feeling of knowing that you're doing something wrong to the Palestinians. But what the propaganda aims to do is help.
It's like the beard, then the blonde hair. Like, I'm confused.
You explain away that gut feeling by saying, oh no, they just hate you because you're Jewish.
I think it's very important to remember that these people are human beings. They were shaped by their environment. They didn't get to choose what type of propaganda or media that is fed to them. And the same thing applies to the Americans. The same thing is applied to the Europeans. It is not a certain group of people, but it is...
All right, Rambo, bro's spitting. He's spitting. Those other two videos, it was here and there, you feel me? He had points, da-da-da. This one, he's spitting right now.
Always the people in power that will sell out yourself, us, for money, power, and what's more important is not blindly hating a certain group of people, which is what the Instagram influencer grifters are doing. They just hate on black people, women, Jews, because it pays a lot of money to be this nihilistic fueled hatred type of person, especially when we're in such an environment where there is a lot of safety. You can't be X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to push back by being extra racist, by being extra anti-Semitic. But that is not...
Yo, that fucking cuff him clip, you got him on that one, I ain't gonna lie.
That's the point. Remember Vanessa? The reason why she was never supported, even though she was right all along about Palestine, was because her co-stars, the people in Hollywood, did not give a shit. They like to pretend they care. These Instagram influencers pretend that they care. They don't really care about the truth. They don't care about statistics. They only say the fun facts about black people and Jewish people because it pays the bills. How could you possibly a co-star who worked together backstab your friend, especially if you're someone who was against the Vietnam War, but then is also in support of Israel and their genocide? Well, it's because they don't care. They're there for the performative politics, which happens a lot today. And there are many videos that I've made about it in other sectors of life if you're curious into watching. But the main theme of everything is that if you delve really deep into these anti-Israel propaganda videos, which I've literally watched hundreds of hours of them, it ruined my mind. It really makes you feel negative. It really
That's really interesting to know that you're being fed propaganda, but then still digesting and like still somewhat conforming to the propaganda.
You hate certain people, and it's this trick and self-awareness that I need to practice where that's what they want. Israel wants
the world to hate them, because by doing this, they create the ultimate taboo, right? We find this disgusting and contemptuous, so the entire world will unite against Israel. But guess what? That's what their religion wants. In the extreme form of Jewish eschatology, or their religion, they believe that at the end of the world, Israel will fight the entire world and God will help Israel triumph in the end. So what's really happening in Gaza is that there are extremists within the Israel government who want to accelerate the process of the end of the world, where Israel will face the world. And if you think about it, the entire idea of this ritual sacrifice is to unite the Israeli population. And what's extremely disturbing and horrifying about it is that this works.
It is important to know that Israel and Palestine has been beefing for a very long time. And
yeah, nigga, 8 decades. What the fuck?
It is slowly coming to its climax where
you would think somebody's letting go of a grudge, but no, that means they kids and they kids' kids is making sure that you feeling this pain.
Thousands of people are dying, children, families, they're all fucking dead. Old people, it does not matter. Israel is killing all of them indiscriminately. And how they garner so much support is not because they pop up in fucking movies. It's because they're finding ways to dehumanize Palestinians. During October 7, Hamas...
I'm telling y'all, Eldians, boy. Marley tweaking.
The terrorist group went to a music festival. They killed a lot of people. And Israel has been lying. They did kill a lot of people, but for some reason they're saying they are killing children, drinking the blood of them, but there's no proof of that.
A character that many people will have seen in the days afterwards is Yossi Landau, who was the southern commander of Zaka, who was on television a great deal. He said,
the 2 piles of 10 children each were tied to the back, burned to death.
You then see a phone call which Netanyahu makes to President Biden, where he repeats this story. In fact, he embellishes it.
They took dozens of children, bound them up, burned them, and executed them.
Terribly important, this, because it was entirely untrue. We know the house he's talking about. He's talking about the house in Kibbutz Be'eri, which was the house that was stormed by Israeli police and military, and where it is almost certain that all of the hostages were killed by the Israeli police and military. There were 2 children there, 2 twins, but no other children, so we know the story is untrue. Mr. Landau told a number of other stories. There's one particularly notorious one about the fetus being cut out of a pregnant woman.
The baby that was connected to the cord was stabbed.
Who has the stomach for that? Like, oh my God. And no, that wasn't a joke, but no, like, not unless you're the cartel.
She was shot in the back.
We simply know this is untrue. The list of the dead show there's no such victim. Mr. Landau said, I have a picture of this atrocity.
If you want to see the picture, I have the picture of it. This is the baby.
Can you even trust that now? AI be going stupid.
I'm sorry to be graphic here, but I can't see a baby here.
You can't see the baby but this is the picture of the mother.
It was a piece of charred flesh. It wasn't a baby. It certainly wasn't a baby. So it was interesting. Psychologically, I'm not quite sure why he offered to show me a photo that he didn't have.
If your goal is to dehumanize the enemy, desensitize all the suffering that is happening, you make them less valuable than a human. And there is a lot of proof of this where there are these influencers, they interview the Israeli teenagers, and she doesn't care that these women, children are dying, but she gets all upset that, oh my God, that fucking donkey. How insulting is it that my life or Palestinian lives are less valuable than that of a donkey?
You know, the animals, the plants, the human are not safe because of you guys. Oh my. Oh my gosh, how stupid you are.
Can you imagine how dehumanized Palestinians have to be for you to not feel anything when he talks to you about Palestinian children, but for you to suddenly be moved and become angry when he mentions a donkey?
That is crazy.
That alone tells you everything.
Quite literally, an ass is worth more than you.
You have to portray your enemy as savages, barbarians. Oh, Hamas, they're drinking the bloods, killing babies. They're not doing that. They're lying about that. And the exact same correlation is happening with these Instagram grifters that hate these certain groups of people, black, women, Jews. They're doing the exact same fucking thing where it's exactly like, oh, they're liars. They're the people that cause the most crime. They're comparing human beings to animals. Oh, what if there was 30% of the rats, but they caused 50% of the crime? They are dehumanizing these human beings as a way to justify their negative thoughts, even negative actions towards these groups of people. It is all about manipulation, propaganda.
Let's say there was 100 fish in a pond, and 13 of those fish were causing half of the issues in the pond. What should we do with those 13 fish?
Eat them. So what can you do?
Bro, did you not? Fuck those dear sisters. Fuck.
Genuinely, because if their goal is to get us to hate them because they believe that at the end God will help them, then it's working. A lot of people are hating on them, but at the same time, they're killing so many people. And you can't just not do anything about it. There is almost this fear or feeling of not being able to do anything. You're weak, you're powerless, and this video is going to get a little bit cuckoo and crazy, but you need to realize in Christianity, I don't really know the story, but I know that God tested some guy and he was pretty much about to kill his wife or children. In Buddhism, Buddha did not give a fuck about his father. He did not care about the kingdom he was supposed to rule. He did not care about his mother. Fuck the mother of his children. Fuck his wife. And he let go of all of that because there is this overlapping theme in all types of religion where your main purpose is not to care. And a lot of people talk about stoicism. I will not care when bad things happen to me. But the reason why I mention all the people that let go of their family is because you're also not supposed to care about the good things. You're not supposed to care about the bad things. You need to reach this level of enlightenment, and you can't be enlightened if you're bogged down by...
I understand what he means. To achieve true enlightenment, you need to give a fuck about truly nothing. But that is not how human emotions work. That's not how our lives work. That's not how we were raised. That's not how our species operates. So it's like, and I understand it's supposed to be more of the mind and the spiritual than the physical, but still, nevertheless.
Constantly negative news. It's a tough pill to swallow, and I'm not saying to give up on your family, but that's the overarching theme in a lot of philosophies, religion, psychology. It's to let go.
We're overstimulated. Our minds are worrying about faraway things, right? The media, the purpose of the media, as I've joked before, is to make every problem your problem.
For sure. But the problems of the world kind of do depend on everybody that's in it. No, am I tweaking? Should that be something that you're daily worrying about? No. But can you sign that petition? Can you do certain things to still, benefit somebody that's going through a bad time? Yeah.
Right. You go on social media and it's just all dueling meme viruses, each one trying to occupy a slot in your brain to make you care. Well, 1,000 years ago, someone could have gotten shot or blown up in some faraway country. You would have never heard about it. You had no stake in it. You had no way of knowing about it. Now it's just your brain is not designed to handle all the world's emergencies in real time as they break. It's breaking your brain at some deep level. You're not even meant to see violence or pornography. Like, those are very weird and rare and unique new things.
Do you think LeBron James...
Damn. I truly think that from his perspective, I understand it. And honestly, it makes sense because back in the day, he's right. But now, as a new day and age, we adapt, we evolve as humans. Now that we know these things that are happening, and with enough of us, we can make a change. I feel like that's the point of it. I can't actively say I'm going to be the nigga outside protesting.
Cares about Israel and the Palestinian conflict? Of course he fucking doesn't. Does any single person you look up to in real life, whether it's a celebrity, actually care? And I'm not talking about them being overly performative by posting some fucking black square for BLM. Do they actually care enough to do something about it? The answer is no. And those that do care live these miserable lives where they're constantly fighting a battle, which is already predetermined, not because of your constant screaming, but because the people in power have already decided. This is not meant to be a negative thing, but you need to realize, especially if you watch my, How Not to Waste Your 20s, there are problems that exist everywhere. And it's my job, a YouTuber's job, the news, every single company's job to make their problems your problem. Does that make sense? And what you solely need to focus on is your problems is the priority, not the problems of other people. It sounds really messed up, but
I get it.
I guarantee you everyone's going to watch this video who got to this part will just move on, right? They'll disagree. Oh, fuck you, Rambo. I'm not selfish. I'm not a selfish person. And make no donations, never volunteer, never actually do anything to help, but they only believe stuff like that be against my beliefs because they don't want to be seen as a selfish person. But you're watching this by yourself, most likely. So
Now I'm watching it with the gang. What's up, gang? All 300 of you.
There's a lot of self-awareness that is required to deeply understand this video. There's a lot of intelligence and interpretation that needs to be understood as to why the conflict is even happening and how you can actually benefit from it. Because if you don't, you'll only suffer through guilt, and the people who want all this to happen will benefit from your guilt. Please support me on Patreon. This video is most definitely getting demonetized. I'm not gonna make any money off of it, which bad business move, Rambo. But yeah, bye guys.
Yo, beautiful video. I love the information he was throwing, the clips he found. It wasn't like his other two videos, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are down in the comments below. Like up, sub up, grit your teeth, and chase your dreams.